Yeah, what's up? How you doing? This is Coach Renz, and today's gonna be an interesting day for sure. For sure. I didn't really know what we wanted to talk about today, but we're gonna talk about something. Of course, welcome to the channel. This is your Coach Renz, and we are live on today. Took me a little bit longer to get started because somebody slept crooked. Somebody back was hurting this morning. It was moving a little bit slow. Little back pain to do it to you. It'll do it to you every time. Every time. It got a hold to me. I usually give about 5 minutes or so for people to get on here. So if you're watching this after afterwards, you might want to just skip to about 5 minutes. But this channel is about deconstructing from religion, spirituality, but also about growing and becoming the greatest version of yourself. Today, we're going to talk about some of the things that we're going to try to become greater versions of ourselves and talk because, I didn't really know what I wanted to talk about today. And I was scrolling through the TikToks on my way in this morning. I'm also the owner of Smoking Phoenix Cigar Lounge. So why does that thing look that way? Smoking Phoenix Cigar Lounge. So if you ever in the Atlanta area, come on by and holler at me. I don't want no. Why is this thing doing this? But come on through, you know. There we go. And let's have a sit down, have a chit chat. But yeah, so but if you don't like cigars, we can just sit outside. That'd be fine. Grand Rising Debbie, how you doing? So we're on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok all at the same time. And yeah, so I was on. So coming in this morning, I'm listening to TikTok, and this has been like for the last few days. What up, Tim? How you doing? And I'm hearing all on TikTok and everything, all this relationship stuff, and but mostly I'm hearing, what I keep hearing over and over again is these people blaming or using deity as an excuse for good relationships, bad relationships, good things happening in life, bad things happening in life. It was especially on the relationship side. You know, this woman was going on and on today. Uh, Thank you, appreciate that. Oh, y'all been. What's up? How you doing, Kate? Reverse. Can you talk about how BS the Quran is today? I don't know a lot about the Quran. Uh, how you doing, Vanessa? Gnostic knowledge. I didn't study the Quran for about a year, and that was like 20, 30 years ago. So I don't know a lot about the Quran. Do I sell the hats? Actually, working on that. Working on getting that partnership to be able to sell the hats that I wear. But I am working on getting somebody in here, a guy who studied the Quran and walked away from Islam. I am working on that. Oh, let me turn this machine off. It may not be loud and irritating to y'all, but it is to me. So yeah, so what's up, everybody? I don't know. I was just disenfranchised as I've been listening to all these people. I don't know if disenfranchised is the right word, but I've been listening to all these people, both male and female, and mostly black community people, and they are just going in on each other. You know what I mean? And that's fine. It's going to be this gender war thing. Every group has gender wars. I see people on both sides, on all sides, always complaining about there ain't no good men of their group. There's no good men. There's no good women. Right? And a Southern blade. That's cool. I like that one. I do have swords. I have a sword at home too, and knives I keep with me. But it really perturbed me this morning coming in. Listen to this woman. She's ranting and raving the normal thing about how black men ain't shit, and um, we all just out here trying to take advantage of every black woman. There's no good black man, and all this sort of thing. Then she goes on this tirade and she starts talking about how these women will still sit up there and jump behind these men. Oh, but at least I got a man, and you just a bitter woman. And she starts going into all this stuff about God and how God is not going to bless this woman as long as she's being around this man, and this man is not being blessed because he's not a good man, but he can't even bless her, and that you got to find a good godly man, and God don't do this, and God don't do that, and it's like, damn, she awfully knows. She knows a lot about this guy's mentality and what he's going to do, and not going to do. And if she's such a good person, I was wondering, like, why doesn't she have this godly man in her life? Like, what's the deal? You know, if God is in the blessing business, where's this godly man that she has in her life? And sometimes these people can have a man. It's funny. Sometimes these people can have a man and then get on here and talk trash about every other man that looks like their man. I've actually been in a relationship where it was like that. And I'm like, how do you listen to these people who dog out black men all day? They got a black man, but they say ain't no black men ain't shit. But then you with a black man, and then you say black men ain't shit. You will say that I'm the exception, but you do realize I have brothers and cousins, and friends, and sons. Well, a son, you know. So it just doesn't match. But they'll use their God as an excuse. You know, and I hear the men doing the same thing. You got to have a good godly woman. You know, she cooking and she cleaning, and she know her role and all this and that. And if she's a good godly woman, she's going to submit. She's going to, take care of all your little needs and all this sort of thing. You sound like the narcissistic man that the woman over here is talking about. And she sounds like the modern woman that this man is talking about. So, but ain't none of y'all happy. But then I thought about what this guy who comes in here said the other day. He said that the reason why a lot of people think that there are no good men, no good women, is because the ones who do have a good man and a good woman, they don't talk about it. They don't. They don't talk about it. They don't sit up and be talking about how God has blessed them with this good, great man, and God has blessed them with this good, great woman, and they're living a great, blessed life and all this. They don't talk about that. They're quiet. It is only these miserable, lonely people who are blaming the ancestors, the aliens, the God, the devil. It is only these miserable people who are out here being loud. Other than that, you got your shock jocks. Well, let me add the shock jocks in there. I know I'm dating myself by saying shock jocks, but other than that, you do have your shock jocks. But for the most part, the people who are not trying to make a living off of TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all these other channels, they're just miserable people, and they're loud, and their loudness attracts other miserable people because the get along gang comes along. They're on there right behind them. Yes, girl. Yeah, dude. Yeah, brother. Yes. And you gotta understand, I'm fair. Both sides is jacked up. So whether you catch me talking about one, and you catch me talking about the other one, I'm talking about both of them. You know, it's sad enough that most people are not living their best life. Most people are not even living a happy life. Most people are living um, a life that is comprised of the amount of misery that they can deal with. You got just enough misery that you're used to it. You can deal with it. You have some high points, but most of your time, most of your day is low points. Most of your life is not happy. Most of y'all are not working in a career that you want to work in. You're not, in the health that you want to be in. Not in how the housing that you want to be in. You don't take as many vacations as you want to take. You don't get to do your hobbies and explore yourself. Hell, most people don't even know who they are. They don't even know who they are. Right? This is why when people do my coaching program, they're always wondering why I make them do these first assessments and all these sort of things. Because it's not for me to understand who they are. It's for me to understand how much they don't know about who they are. And if you don't know who you are, then how in the hell do you think you're ever going to be? You're ever going to live your best life? Put it that way. I like using relationships a lot because relationships are easy. Relationships and money are easy to account for, and they're easy for people to understand. But if you don't know who you are, and actually I'm gonna do a short form video about this a little bit later on today. You don't, and using my hands as an example. But I'm not gonna do it here because you will not get a free preview of it. You have to watch that video. So if you're not subscribed to the page, then you won't see it. But how do you expect to have anything great in your life when you don't even know who you are? How does a woman expect to find a great man when she doesn't know who she is? She can pray all day. She can blame the devil all day. She can talk about her ancestors all day. The aliens can come down and give you a clear roadmap. But as long as you're waiting on one of those entities to do something, you're wasting your time. She's never going to find a good man if she doesn't know herself. And it goes the other way around. No man is ever going to find a good woman for him. So let me express that. This is a for him and for her. Like there is a difference. Like who's on here? Tim might be a great dude. Debbie, great woman, but they may not be great for each other. They're both on Facebook. They'll be trying to hook up after I said that. But they might not, they may be great for somebody else, but not great together. But how in the hell do you ever get to a point where you can figure out if somebody is great for you or you great for them? There have been in my lifetime there were people that I started dating and I realized I stopped dating them because I realized I'm not good for you. Wasn't so much that they weren't good for me, but I realized that me and you, it's not gonna work. We're You're a nice lady. You deserve some greatness in your life. You've been through some things. You know, you're attractive. You got your life together. But I can tell I'm not going to be good for you. She didn't understand it and was a little bit upset at first. But I just recognized I wasn't good for her. Because I know who I am. And that's the problem. Most people don't know who they are. And because they don't know who they are, they blame these deities. They blame these ideas of astral projection forms and dimensional beings and all this sort of thing, and never take a deep dive within themselves to discover who you are. So when I'm scrolling on this TikTok or YouTube or something, I see these people, you know, they going on their long ass diatribes about, you know, these black men are beating women and these women coming up telling us, I got me a good man. You just jealous because you don't have a good man and you don't have a man and you got a black eye and all this sort of thing. And they sitting up there, you just jealous. Both of y'all got problems. The woman that stays with a man that beats her, she got a problem. But the woman that sits up here and thinks that every black man is beating his woman, you got a problem too. And then you get home and go on your diatribe about, oh, the Lord is going to bless me with a great man. And I'm just waiting on God to send that man my way. I'm not going out looking for the man. And then they start talking about horoscopes. Because I'm a Libra, and a Libra, we balance on the scales and we friendly and we like, the hell? You went from your God to what your religion would call witchcraft. That doesn't make any sense. Like, make up your mind which pathway you're going to follow. And then when you base who you are based on what the stars and the planets and their alignments, what was going on when you was born. Now it's a little interesting. I will say, I looked at it. I did the whole star chart for when I was born. A lot of the things on the star, some of the things they ain't gonna say a lot, but there's a significant amount of things on the star chart. I was like, okay, I can get down with that. I can get down with that. But the fact that that is what makes me who I am, that's bullshit. That is why there are some people out there who still listen to my videos that we've had conversations or possibility of dating. And there's a few of them wonder why I never took interest in them after the first conversation. And that is because they went into all that astrological bullshit. All this astrology. Oh, you a Libra? Oh, you a Libra and then your moon was in Virgo? And you a late Libra too. So I mean you got some Scorpio tendencies. Oh, I'm a hell. I'm Aquarius. I'm Aries. We that don't mix with me. I ain't every Libra I ever been with. All right, I'm good. I think you need to go ahead and kick rocks at this point. Why in the hell I'm gonna sit up here and try to talk to you? You basing our first interaction based on some goddamn stars and all this kind of stuff. Then you're gonna base our interaction on the fact that you dated other men who are absolutely not me. But you just let me know you carrying the baggage from those other men, and you're letting that baggage determine your decision making process, which just lets me know that who the person that you don't determine your life. You don't determine your life. I read this quote today. I forgot the person already who said it, but he said, "The meaning of life is the meaning that you give it." I like a preacher. Let me say it one more time. The meaning of life is the meaning that you give it. The quote's a little bit longer, actually. He starts out by saying that we are all seeking the meaning of life when life is the meaning that you give it. So when you allow other people to control your life as to, or these fanciful ideas or these interdimensional beings, they get to determine who you date, where you work, how you live. And so the church, Papa said, the church and religion are spiritual prisons. 100% of the believers and followers go to church out of fear and ignorance. Speak on it because I was once fearful, and he was once fearful and ignorant to the Bible. Oh man. Okay, I gotta blow this off my keyboard. Just drop my ash on my keyboard. You know what? I get it later. Not right now. But oh shit, I got to clean this laptop today. But that actually coincides with the conversation, Papa Soul, because the title of this is about God, devil, ancestors, and aliens. There are excuses why we keep that those are excuses that people consistently use those excuses. And why do they use them? Fear and ignorance. Another wise saying says that an educated mind refuses to be free. An educated mind refuses to be a slave. Frederick Douglass also, not Frederick Douglass, was it Washington? No, Frederick Douglass also expressed a similar thought process, similar saying, when he said an educated mind will refuse to be a slave. When you look around your churches, your mosques, your synagogues, all these sort of things, when you look at the people who are practicing pretty much every goddamn religion, whether it's Ifa or Buddhism or Hinduism, each one of them, the majority of them, are ignorant of that religion, brought up into that religion by their parents or their surroundings or some friends, and then they never study the thing and start to think for themselves. And that's the same problem I find when these people who are in these relationships and how they live their life is they never take the time to study anything for themselves. If you're going to claim a religion and then base how you relate to people on that religion, learn the damn religion. I don't care what religion a person chooses. That's your choice. Live that life. Go ahead and do your thing. But stop being ignorant of it. And then that ignorance causes you to live in a fear. One, you're fearful of the torment that it promises if you don't follow it. Then two, you're fearful of what the community says if you fall out of it or don't go however it's going today. You think that Christians today are acting the same way that Christians acted 1,000 years ago? Hell no. Muslims are not acting the same way they acted 1,000 years ago. None of these people are acting the same way. All of them have changed based on culture. And then you're acting like the culture that you're in. You know, they separate me in a lot of conversations that we have in the lounge because they'll say some stuff like, well, you know, Renz is different. Well, you know, Renz think different. Renz mind is different, but we talk about the everybody else. It actually irritates me when they say that. But as I expressed to them the other night, y'all have to say that because y'all don't know yourselves. You've never studied yourself. You never got deep into who you are so that you can actually be able to navigate through these pitfalls of your religions or your relationships, your money, you know, whatever it is that we're having a conversation about. You still don't know who the hell you are. And then you're still blaming some entity for your life. You know, you won't he do it? Something good happens in your life. Won't he do it? Something good happens in somebody else's life. Won't he do it? He do what? The last time somebody said that to me, they was like, won't he do it? I said, I sure as hell did. And they just looked at me like I done lost my mind. They were like, what do you mean? I'm giving, you got to give glory. I said, I give glory to me. That's who I'm giving glory to. Who was the one that was inside that shop for 10, 12 hours a day, getting up early to go run across town to pick up supplies and go get all the others and go to about 4 different places to get supplies, get here early enough, make all the product, get the product ready, clean the float, clean everything up, keep it clean, do the marketing, do the advertising, making sure all the bills are paid, taxes are paid. Who's doing all that? Who was doing all that? You finally caught me. But who was doing all that? I didn't see Jesus. Jesus wasn't on my right side. Muhammad wasn't on my left side. Buddha wasn't backing me up. Krishna wasn't leading the way. I'm doing all that shit myself. All of it myself. Even when in raising my kids, and I'm talking to my kids, they like, well, my kids never. They asked me one time. My oldest asked me one time. She was she was these kids were getting awards and she was going to get an award. No, that wasn't my it was my middle child. She was getting an award. And it was like you know, all these other kids, you know, they always thanking God. Should I thank God when I get up there? I said, baby girl, I said, you know, I raised y'all to think for yourselves. You can do whatever you choose to do. But who did all the studying? Who went and bought your supplies that you needed? Who made sure you had a roof over your head, food in your mouth? Who made sure you had clothes on your back? Who makes sure you get to school? Who makes sure, you know, just everything that goes into the person that she is. And at first she said me and her mom. Of course, she said her mom first, but she said me and her mom. And then I said, you're forgetting the most important person. You. No matter what me and your mother do, unless you get up and do it, unless you take the time, it doesn't matter what we do. You have to have the desire to do it and have it for yourself. So you think whoever you want to think. But all this thanking everybody else, hell to the no. That's why, what was that, Snoop Dogg? First, I want to thank me. I want to thank me for all the late nights. I want to thank me for all. You goddamn right. One of the things that's keeping people from having a great life is the fact that they keep on giving all this energy to these deities and these churches and these synagogues and these different things that has absolutely nothing to do with their success. Absolutely nothing to do with it. That's why I just saw somebody make a comment somewhere and I just lost where I saw it. That's right. As Debbie says in Texas, me, myself, and I. De La Soul wrote a song about it. Want to hear it? Here you go. Mm-hmm. I'm proud of who I am. I speak to plug too tight. Please let plug two be himself, not what you read or write. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's back in the day. That was one of my favorite songs on De La Soul. Me, myself, and I. It's just me, myself, and I. Because okay, so yesterday I forgot who it is. I think Anthony was like, "Yo, man, you got to go watch Prometheus. You got to watch Prometheus. You're into that galactic seeding of the earth, Prometheus." I watched Prometheus yesterday. It was a good movie. It was a good movie. But I mean, it was a good movie. And it was interesting because the woman she's still believing in this Jesus character, but she was so hell bent on finding her creator. She found her creators, the engineers. And then after she found the engineers, now I got to know who made them. It's a never ending story. You're never going to know. You're never going to know. So you just give all this stuff to. You got a few anti-religion bars for me? Hey, I like that. But you're never gonna you will never know what created the universe, how exactly the universe was created. Glory to me, glory to Hanuman. No, I just saying. I am the one who did the work. If anyone else deserves my credit, I will accord it to them. Of course, as I should be. That's why it's called I aspire to be my higher self. Exactly. No one will ever find out how the universe is made. No one will. You can't win the lottery if you don't go buy a ticket. You got to go do something. Right? It's a never-ending story, but you got to go do something. You can't sit on your ass. And when I was hearing this woman this morning, she just dogging men. And then I scrolled a little bit, and there's this man, and he just dogging women. And I'm like, how your poison asses are ever gonna find somebody? Y'all would never have a good relationship. Y'all got so much damn poison in yourself that if you spending every day getting on to this TikTok and all you're doing is dogging out men and dogging out women, hell, if I was as a man, if I met any of those women that I heard on there, I'd be like, hell no, I don't want to talk to you. I hear what you talk about all the time. I don't want to talk to you. The church always said the devil lived backwards, but it's not to us. I see it. It's knowledge, and I believe it should be seeds in every living being. I'll drop the rest of in a thread on Facebook. Okay, that's cool. But yeah, and it's interesting they say that they read it backwards, and really that's just a play on the fact that we read right to left. Jewish people read left to right. So does Chinese people read left to right. Anything to separate themselves and say that one is good and one is bad. That's where it kind of originally started. I'm glad you found too. I'm glad you're here. But religion is the opiate of the masses. It keeps you high, keeps you drunk, keeps you from uh, achieving your greatness. As long as you keep looking for somebody else to do the work for you, to bring this greatness into your life, you're never going to succeed in life. And understand success is not measured by money, it's not measured by anything but what you desire to have for yourself. Like what do you want? Like Really, what do you guys want? Like, little test on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being your whole life is just effed up. 10 being you living your absolute best life. If you're completely honest with yourself, completely honest, where would you put it? 10 is your absolute best life. 1 being the worst life you can imagine. Nah, fuck it. 0. 0 would have to be the worst life you can imagine. Where you at? Can you be honest with yourself? This is the moment. Look, the only person that y'all can see is me. Everything else, y'all just got names. Most of y'all don't know each other. You ain't never met each other. You know, there's no one to judge you. The only person that you have to be accountable for in this moment is you. Just you. Nobody else. I'm not going to judge you. I don't judge people. I'm not judging you. But on a scale of 0 to 10, living your best life, if you were honest, not flossing for these shows and all this stuff, where you at? ID Oren says that he's a 5, but that's enough at this stage. I'm happy to be alive. So a 5, but he's happy to be alive. That's cool. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, because I know me, I know how I truly, truly want to live my life. I'm rocking about a 4, 4.5. Now, y'all know I'm not sitting up here and I'm all depressed and my life, I'm all like sad and shit. And I don't have things going the way I want them to go. Beverly said a 6. Only thing that'll rise up is getting your band going. All right. It depends on what your best life is to you. Of course, it all only matters what your best life is to you, but where are you on that, Isaac? That's what I'm saying. Nobody else can judge it because my life that I have right now would be like a 9 or a 10 to somebody. Whereas for me, it's a 4. You are mistaken thinking that religion is exclusive and a must have for you to know God's existence or to be subscribed into that belief. Funny. Okay, so Isaac says a 3. Aaron, you must be mistaken into thinking that there is actually a separation between religion, spirituality, and what y'all are now using as, and I don't know you using it, but what they're now using to call relationships. At the end of the day, all of that is the same thing. You can try to puff it up into a new terminology today, but it's still the same thing as it was yesterday. Without the religion, you can't have the relationship. Without the religion, you don't have your vision of God. So how do you even get a God existence without religion? Religion is the doctrine that creates your deity. So that excuse that's just like my man Papa said, that's ignorance of just, and this is ignorance in following along the new paradigm of language that people are using to describe their connection with God. But also, what's interesting is anything having to do with knowledge, gaining insight within what's seen as evil, demonized, destroyed, almost eradicated, everything coming up against theology, theism in early days. I also did some research. I came across and learned that ancient Kemet was destroyed by ancient Kemet was destroyed. The Jewish were destroyed, nearly wiped out, etc. All of this theism and these other belief systems that came about based on where you were born. Oh yeah, where you were born makes a huge difference as to what you believe today. My guitar is always with me and arms reach. My mom still has something yet. Cool. Personification of God, what God is. I'm important. Okay. Yeah. But and that's a thing of deep thought. Who I am today is based on the parents that I was born to, the life that they provided, the people that I was surrounded by, the events that happened in my life, and how I interpreted all those things. How I look inward to learn even more. Let me tell you this conversation. I had this conversation. It's been on my mind for a few days, and it irritated the shit out of me. And understand, when I say something irritates me, it's not that I'm just sitting here and I'm like, it's I'm thinking about it. I'm listening to people, and I'm like, can't you not grasp what you are saying, right? So, of course, you guys know I'm here in the lounge, in the cigar lounge, in my cigar lounge, and we have conversations about you could sit in here for an hour and have 5 deep conversations, right? 5 deep conversations in an hour. Skybox says an 8. I'm still looking for y'all to tell me where y'all at. So I still want that one. I still want to know. I know some of y'all got to think about it, and it's good. Mentally and financially, the aspects of that in the works, but know that I'm closer to keeping and using my mind. All right, you're at an 8. That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm still aspiring to get up in them in those numbers. I would say I'm at a 4, and don't take it as I mean, Angelina is great. Our house is a great house. I work for myself, but there's a lot. But the way I envision how I want my desires, now there are things I'm not living. Y'all haven't seen me at fucking Machu Picchu. You haven't seen me at these ancient sites. So there's a lot more to come. And Tiffany says a 3, Debbie says a 5. That's good to be completely, and that's the thing. I can look deep and see that I know that other people look at my life and think it's great, and some people look at it think it's horrible. Different perspective, you know. But it's what matters is how I view it, and then once I view it, then I have to look within myself, and then continuously and consistently make changes to adjust my thoughts and my actions so that it produces the higher number of life that I desire to have, the higher elevation. So we was in here having this conversation, and we was talking about damn it, I had it in my mind and it just fell out. I know we use the music industry as the example, and we was talking about how people get screwed over on their first contracts in the music industry, and sometimes their second contract, sometimes a third contract. Um, and one person was kind of making this excuse that nobody was there to teach these people how to read between the lines or even understand how the contracts work, right? Uh, if you're a musical artist, if you're the artist, all that studio time, all the wardrobes, all the pressings. Well, they don't press CDs and albums too much like they used to, but all these things, um, the artist comes out of the artist points. Artists may have 3 points on a CD, right? On an album, they only have 3 points, maybe 5. If they wrote some of the songs, they get something. They might have some more points. But all of this comes out of there. They get this upfront money, but then they got to pay all this money back. They album sales like TLC 10 million copies, and they walk away with $300,000 to split amongst the three of them, right? That's how it works. Now, they were saying that it wasn't fair. That's how. But if you didn't read the contract and if you read the contract, then you have to accept that that's just how it is. That's just how it is. And then you have to also recognize that the reality of it is TLC, great. Love TLC. Homegrown band group from here out of Atlanta. But let's be real, especially at that era, but in all times, they're a dime a dozen. They're a dime a dozen. So you walk into that industry, you know you're gonna take this shit contract. Your first contract, you're gonna get shit on. And that first contract might be for 3, 4, 5, 6 CDs, right? That's just the nature of the business. But then when you get mad because you don't like the contract after you not hit big, it's just the way the contract is. You just gotta wait that contract out. And if you can't renegotiate it, you gotta wait it out. You know? If you think about the hundreds of artists that record companies take risk on, and only 10% of them pan out, that's a lot of risk. You got to they have to mitigate their risk, and you have to jump into your opportunities when you get one. I'm in the music and people getting screwed, sign off, just words and don't read. Yeah, and most of them will just sign. When I was younger, in my 20s, I was aspiring to get into the music industry. And the thing that kept me out of it is the fact that I would read the contract and be like, this messed up. I don't like this because I thought I was special. Right? And because I thought I was special, I was like, I ain't signing this contract. If you want me, you're gonna have to do. I need more points on this. I'm also writing, and you're not gonna be able to add other writers to my songs. And, so I'm all like I was special. If jokers told me where I can go, take your ass on back to the Marine Corps. Dude, you're a dime a dozen. That was the beginning and end of my music career. But they was trying to make a big deal out of the fact that everybody don't read like you do. Everybody just don't have this natural curiosity, and everybody just don't come out, sit in their grandparents' dining room table and read the encyclopedias, and they just going out. Everybody, and these people don't have somebody who's supposed to teach them. These people should come and they should teach them how the industry works. Look, once you pass 30, I'll let you be stupid in your 20s. In your 20s, you make all these mistakes, you stupid, you don't know how life works, you just came out of your parents' house, or whatever situation you was in, you stupid. You don't know. But you should have hit your head against the wall enough time when you was in your 20s. By the time you're 30, if you don't read the contract, that's your fault. That's your fault. Yeah, there's a separate language between English and legalese. But that's your fault. I was in court some years ago, and I beat the shit out of this lawyer. I wore his ass out to the point where the judge wondered why I haven't went to law school. That's because I went and I read everything that pertained to the damn case that I was dealing with. Like, you're not getting me on domestic disturbance, inciting a riot, whatever this dude was trying to get me with, because I got into a fight. This dude attacked me, and I defended myself, but they tried to charge me. Right? Why would a snake tell you how to avoid the bite? And then it's not always a snake. Like, I don't get mad at the music industry for how they set up those initial contracts, because they're taking all the risk. So I'm not mad about that. Let me clear up something. Demons, ancestors, spirits are nothing but energy pockets. They are for you to use for transmutation of the lower self, like the microwave heat food. But if you put the wrong, yes, I'm not going to read the whole thing out loud, but I am with you. If you don't use those tools for yourself, if you don't use these energies for yourself, and the only way you're ever going to be able to do that is you got to be willing to dig deep within yourself to use it. You got to know self. You have to know self in order to do it. All right. I'm okay. I'm going to do this on another video, so I'm going to repeat this, but I want you guys to do this. We're going to do a little exercise today, okay? I'm not even going to tell y'all all the information on it. No, I'm not telling you all the information because I'm going to make you watch this video later as I explain it. But I want y'all to hold your hand like this, right? Everybody see that? Hold your hand like this. Then your, make sure I got this right. So this is your ring finger, right? This is the finger that you put a ring on when you get married, right? So everybody got their hands like this. This is the finger that you, these two, that's the one you put the ring on when you get married. The one closest to you after that, I want you to bend it down. So you see that one? I want you to bend it down and make sure it's connecting. All right, make sure that it's just like this, knuckle to knuckle. If you with me 8 years ago, you saw a video that I did like this. Make sure that's knuckle to knuckle. Now, separate your thumbs. Easy, right? Put your thumb back together. This ain't got nothing to do with red and ring equals occult Saturn symbol. This ain't got nothing to do with that. This exercise is totally different. Separate your thumb. I understand what you're saying, but separate your thumb. Now, the other two fingers, separate those. You can easily separate those, right? Easily separate those. You shouldn't even be typing right now, Boondocks. You should be doing this. You're supposed to be doing the exercise. You too, Isaac. This ain't a mudra. This is not a mudra. Well, it is a mudra, but this ain't the purpose right now. You shouldn't be typing. You should be doing this. Y'all not participating if you're typing. So separate the thumb. Fine. Okay, your hand hurt. Separate these two. You can do that. Separate the pinkies. You can do that, right? Now, with those two down like that, right? Separate your ring fingers. But keep it together. You got to keep these two knuckles, these fingers, you got to keep that together. Separate your ring finger. Can't do it. You cannot do it. So when I explain this later in another video, what I will explain is that these two fingers together is the deep connection of knowing self and connect. And then when you know self, you'll know what people you should connect to and what people you shouldn't. When you connect to those people, and it's mainly about relationships, called the Chinese ring finger little thing. When you, this is not a mudra. This is the Chinese ring finger lesson. It ain't got nothing to do with mudras, with any of those things. Oh, your fingers broke? God dang. But you cannot separate these two fingers as long as you have a deep knowledge of self. If you squeeze your elbows, you can separate them. Keep these two knuckles together. Keep these two fingers together. Squeeze your elbows. Send me a video of you squeezing your elbows, keeping those two together like that, and you separate them without them knuckles separating. I'm gonna tell you, I don't believe you. I'm gonna have to see that. That's one of those I gotta see. Matter of fact, are you on TikTok? Boondocks. If you on TikTok, yeah, okay, yeah. Because I was gonna say, go to TikTok right now. Go on to the live on my TikTok. I will bring you up, and you can show us the video that you can do it. But you can't. And when I do this video later on the day, I will explain deeper. He triple jointed. Oh, you was doing it wrong. Okay. And this will be on my relationship channel, but of course it gets put on. It'll get put on YouTube, but it get put on my relationship channel. When you do this, I might put it on all of them. These two is representing. This is the husband. This is the wife. Deep knowledge and understanding of yourself connecting to the right person, because when you know who you are, you'll know who you can connect with and who you can't, and then the marriage can't be broken. The only time it can be broken is when you, and then I go into a whole thing after that and change the position. When you have shallow understanding of self, that's when everything can be broken. When you have shallow understanding of self, everything in your life can be broken. Right? Everything can be broken. Let me tell you, it's people who are attached to religions, and they use these God, devils, ancestors, aliens as excuses. They have shallow understanding of those things. Those people are actually easily broken. What they don't realize is that they were broken by the religion that they are claiming to have strength in. Oh, preach on, preacher. That's what is it called? It's the Chinese ring. Ring. It's Chinese ring finger. If you just type in Chinese ring finger lesson, then you can find it. I did a video 8 years ago, but I'm gonna do a new one. Mine goes in a little bit more, a lot more detail, and then adds a addendum to it. But see, here's the problem. Here's what I'm talking about. When a person who is don't have a deep understanding of the religion, and it's a catch-22. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's a catch-22. You're not gonna win. The deeper the knowledge base you have and understanding you have about a religion, the more you realize how fake the religion is, how broken the religion is, and then you free yourself from that religion. The shallow people have been broken. The people who don't know as much about the religion, those shallow people, the religion itself has broken them, and they feel like they're connected deeply. That's why nowadays they come out, oh, it's not, what does somebody up here talk about? Um, it's not about the religion, it's about God's existing. You're a mistake. No, you shallow in your understanding of it. Now you're trying to convert it, talking about it's a relationship. You cannot have a relationship with somebody or some mindset or even an idea that you do not know deeply, that you don't have intimate knowledge of, you haven't shared real experiences with. You created experience. Oh, I was in the hospital and I had uh, immunodisease situation, and I was praying, and the church came in, they were praying, and God saved me. And what about the medicine? What about the doctors? What about the knowledge that those doctors stood on from other people who worked on this? What about all the people who died from this disease for hundreds of years, and the cumulative knowledge that continued to grow now produces the situation that allows you to live? You are now in that prop in somebody else's future. You are now a stepping stone in somebody else's future for their healing. What about all that? What about the medical facilities? What about all the things, the decontaminations and all those things that allow you to live? The surgery. Oh, my stomach was bleeding. I was bleeding out, and the doctor came in and sewed me up and all that, and give praise to some deity. Doctor, those aren't real spiritual experiences that you had that creates this intimate relationship. That's your emotions and your indoctrination giving credit where credit is not due. So you cannot have relationship with some deity if you don't know the deity, spend time with the deity talk to you, you talk to it, not you talking to you in your mind. It doesn't work that way. There is no other relationship on this planet in the known existence that works that way. You say you think that people learn that there are different forms of speech, they change their perspective. The descriptions in their religious books are not literal. No, most of them aren't literal. They're meant to those people who wrote it back then. They knew that they was writing allegorical stories, just like we got Paul Bunyan and John Henry. Prayed to Batman when my mate was sick. He got better before Batman therefore Batman is real. It effectively, not realizing that even in the Bible, they give you hints of it. The woman had the issue of blood, right? She had it for like, I forgot how long she had it, 30, 40 days, 3 years, something like that. I forgot. But when she touched the hem of his cloak and she was healed, what did he say? By your faith, you are healed. Meaning that this woman believed in the fact that this Jesus could heal her so much that by her belief of that, she was healed. Her belief. Really, so if a person doesn't have belief in Jesus, Jesus could touch them all day and the motherfucker ain't gonna get healed. Basically, is what this Jesus was saying. Even though Christians try to spin it a different way. Dude blind, put some mud on, spit on some mud, put it on his eye. Oh, by your faith you're healed. Hand messed up, by your faith you're healed. Consistent thing that is said. By your faith you are healed. By the power of your mind, the emotional support of your belief in that, your ass is healed. It's not that hard. But I'd be damned if you think you're having some relationship with some deity that you ain't never met. That's like me saying that, oh, you know what? I have a love affair with, oh, she is so great. She is so wonderful. She is beautiful. Oh, and I would have said this some years ago too, for real, for real. Still sometimes say it today. But I have such a beautiful, loving relationship with Shirley Ralph. Oh, oh. Don't act like y'all don't know who that is. I met that woman one time in my life. I do not have a relationship with her. I met her one time. And the reason why, and I met her because I have Shirley Ralph, I have had an infatuation with that woman since I first saw her. You know, she's the original Dream Girl on the Broadway show, Moesha's mama in that show. I did not, that movie with Eddie Murphy when he was running for president, I forgot what it was called. Distinguished Gentleman. I was not watching Distinguished Gentleman for Eddie Murphy. I was watching Distinguished Gentleman for Cheryl Lee Ralph. When I tell you that your boy, and even though she's an older woman right now, your boy still loves him some Cheryl Lee Ralph. I don't have a relationship with her. I don't know this woman. We met one time that she probably doesn't even remember. And I'm sure she don't remember because she was on her way to her. She was finishing up some stuff here in Atlanta and on her way to her bachelorette party to get married. So I'm sure she don't remember. But I remember. I can't claim relationship with her. And I actually met her. These people are claiming relationship with these deities. You ain't never met them. You have never truly met them. You have no proof of you meeting them. On my knees for Jesus. No. Y'all want to see me melt? Come out of character? Let Shirley Ralph walk in this door. Actually, I didn't act funny when I first met her. I kept it together. But you want to see me just smiling for no reason? Let her walk through this door right now. I know some of y'all gonna be like, really? That's your lady? That's your, what do you call them? Something crush? I don't know what you call them. Star crush, celebrity crush. Yep, Shirley Ralph. I have literally met two of my celebrity crushes for my life. So I'm on a good roll. Shirley Ralph and India Arie. But I got some other ones. I ain't met them yet. I got quite a few of them. Just ain't met them. But I can't claim a relationship with those people. But these people claim a relationship with this deity. And in their relationship with this deity, they blame some of their misfalls and mishaps of life with these deities. If a person tells me that something negative had happened in their life, I guarantee you, with enough investigation, I can figure out what the causation was. So there are no miracles. There's no luck or chance. Either you made decisions or somebody else made decisions that affected you. Your celebrity crush is the girl that plays Philomena. Philomena Kunk. I don't know who that is, but I'm gonna look it up. That's Philomena Kunk. Okay. Hold on. I gotta clean this board off. I can't type on here with all this. And I just clean that up later. Sorry for blowing on the microphone, but Angelina, don't you say a word. Don't say a word. If I had connection to get her to your business, would I get a box of cigars on how? Bruh, which one? They don't matter which one. Shirley, Ralph, or India Ree walk up in here, I will give you a box of cigars. No doubt whatsoever. And I've had people bring some other celebrities in here. I ain't give a they ain't getting. I appreciate you, man. Thank you, bro. You know, but you bring one of them too. I got a few other ones. Hilarious, super geeky. She was in the It crowd. Alicia Keys, Ashante definitely plays a special part in my teen years. Too easy. Whatever, Angie. I know that was too easy. I kind of set myself up for that one, but all right. I know you're gonna dog me on it later. It's all right. And it was the little mic, so that's our inside joke. Y'all can leave us alone. Now I'm curious as to who this Philomena Crump person is. I don't know names that well. Oh, I know who this. I've seen this girl in some stuff before. Okay, interesting look. She's got some big eyes. Not that that's a bad thing. Big eyes are good. Wasn't saying it that way. Erica Badu, please. Erica Badu, I just want to hang out with her. I think she, I think she'll be cool to hang out with, and yeah, and have conversations. Oh Lord, and I messed up this conversation. Drew Barrymore, I will let you have that one. In your teens, I've never thought. Okay. All right. Y'all gonna get. I don't want y'all to say nothing. I have an infatuation with the. It's a white woman, a Caucasian woman. I usually don't have many infatuation with Caucasian women. I mean, I can recognize a Caucasian woman; she's pretty or whatever. Not saying that. That I think that every woman has levels of beauty. Every color, there's beautiful women. But I have an infatuation with Mary Steenburgen. Mary Steenburgen. That's another woman that she walk in here. Everybody else might look at me like, really, Mary Steenburgen. But I know it's the little puppy dog eyes that she has. It's her speech pattern and her mannerisms. Like when I watched that movie Powder, I was watching Powder for her. She was the reason why I was watching Powder. I mean, the movie Powder is great for a energy transmutation, spirituality kind of mindset. Great movie, but I literally watched Powder because of her. I watched the book club because of her. And Back to the Future 3. She's the school teacher in Back to the Future 3. I love Back to the Future anyway. Time travel movies, I love those. I watched that for her. Step brothers. I watched that for her. Oh, yep. And in Elf. I don't know what it is, what it was about that woman. But anyway. Anyway, that's not the point. That's not the point. We're getting off point. The point I was making is that you know how people have that emotional attachment to these celebrities or to some person that you might have seen, but you don't know these people, right? You don't know any of these people. You never really met them, but you manifest emotions for these people. This is how people have manifested emotional ties to these deities, whether they're good emotional ties or bad ones, because not all of them, because I put on the tag, God, devil, ancestors, aliens. We put all these emotional ties onto all these entities that you've never met, and then you claim relationship with them. And then you give them credit. You give them credit. Something bad happened in your life. The devil made me do it. Devil made me do it. Even your God says that the devil made him do it. Whole thing with Job, the devil made him do it. Now, why did you make the bet? The devil made him do it. Ancestors told me that I need to do this or do it. Oh, tell you a story. This is how people be messing up their stuff with this bullshit. A girl who was a friend of my friends, because I will not call her my friend. Right? She pops up. She's always wanted to be in Hollywood. Always wanted to be an actress or whatever. And she says, wakes up one morning, things haven't been going too well for her in Georgia. So God told me that I need to go to California, and He's gonna make the way for me. Gets up one morning, grabs the kids up, throw the kids in the U-Haul, starts driving to California. Runs out of money when she gets to Texas. Now she's begging on the street, and begs on the street all the way till she gets to California. Right? Goes to LA, ain't shit happening for her. God told her to come to LA. Ain't nothing happening for her in LA. She knows that that I don't call many people friends. I do not. I have very few friends. Because if we gotta have that right there for me to call you friend. She knows I have a friend in San Diego. She gets down to San Diego, then all of a sudden, I ain't heard from this woman. I ain't talked to this woman. I didn't even know she was going across country. Calls me up and said, hey, don't you have a friend here in San Diego? I'm out here, me and my kids, we homeless, we need some help. My friend is a cop, so I know he knows where all the little situations that help people and stuff, right? So I said, I do have a friend. She knew his name already because she now looked on my Facebook page. I said, look, the way their relationship is set up, he doesn't have female friends. She doesn't have male friends without the husband or the wife knowing the opposite. So don't let me call him, talk to him and his wife, find out what they're willing to do, and then, I'll let you know. So first I'm like, how the fuck? So I'm mad. And before I call my guy in San Diego, I called the friends here that connected me with this one. I said, what the hell is going on? Just trying to get more information before I call my guy. Before I can finish the damn phone call, I'm getting a phone call from my guy. He is mad, man. Who the hell is this? I was like, what are you talking about? You shouldn't even know who that person is. Man, this woman now figured out my phone number and called me. Shot me a message on Facebook, and calling me through Facebook. And I can hear his wife in the background. You know how we do things. We don't just have no strange men or women calling. I was like, I did not. I'm so sorry. Cuss that damn person. I did. I cussed her out. I was telling you, ain't gonna. What you're not gonna do is disrupt my friendship. I'm not told him how exactly how everything was supposed to go. I was gonna call you if you can't help me out there. But now I told my guy, you ain't helping her. I told him and his wife, y'all not helping her. She can't abide by the way that I told her we're gonna do this. Y'all are not. I'm telling these other grown people what they ain't gonna do. Y'all are not helping her, and they didn't. And then I called her and I cursed her out. You know, but God told her to go to LA. LA. He's gonna make a way for her. A couple of years later, I'm talking to my friends, well, my friend who's here, who connect me with her. She not can't brought her ass back. Brought her ass back. But I thought God sent her out there. Oh, well, he sent me out there to learn a lesson in humility and to see if I would be obedient and follow him no matter how things turned out. And you know, but then he told me to come back to Georgia. Last I heard, she's in Florida now. These people will make up and they'll take, people will take the ancestors, the devil, this God, and all this stuff, yeah, in their mysterious ways, and give them the credit or excuse for their own emotions and their own thoughts and their own actions. When that's all it is you. Now, if she had thought about it, she could have had a well thought out plan um, to get out there and to try to become whatever she wanted to become. I'm sorry, my man said Fran Drescher with his woman, and she looked like his French teacher. Oh, est-ce que tu parles en français? But they're. I guess I'm thankful. I never really fell into that fully. Don't get me wrong. I used to pray. I used to try to make bets with God. You know, as you guys who have followed me for a while, you know, when I was heading over to Desert Storm, but I knew that I knew we were going to stop in a few places. I was like, God, you know, please, just when we stop in Israel, let me go and see this, that, and the third, and so that you prove that you are who you are. When I go to Rome, let me go and see this, and so that proves who you are. Or and then I'm open to anything else that you want to show me that proves who you are. And I just want to, because I want to be. I want to be Christian, you know. I'm tired of fighting everybody and arguing and being the one that's outside the crowd. I'm crying. 10 days going across the Atlantic. Oh, please, God, get into the Mediterranean. Oh, please, I want to know. I want to be with you. Get to all them places, Israel, Mecca, the Vatican, other places in Italy. Nope. Everything pointed to the opposite direction. Everything pointed to the opposite direction. And you could not have convinced me. You know how these people try to say that, oh, you never had the Holy Spirit. You could not have convinced me that I was not acting on the Holy Spirit during that time frame. When I was praying, when I was deep praying, getting baptized, you know, in the Jordan River, and you know, going to the Wailing Wall, going to Bethlehem, you know, Mount Arafat, going to there, and going to Mount Calvary. You couldn't have convinced me back then I wasn't filled with the Spirit. But of course, nowadays people would say that, oh well, when you was going there, you was really just filled with the spirit of the devil or a demon or something like that, and that's why, you know, you weren't able to see God's presence when you were there, because so many other people, when I was there, I saw God's presence. No, you already had a I had a great desire to see that presence. You've already decided that everything you see was going to be that presence. Say it was begging. Right, that's what belief do. It was begging. And that's what I was doing. I was begging. Ooh, you was 5 years old when your mom fell in with the J Dubs. Yeah, even at that age, you knew it was crazy. Yeah. But I was begging. And you're right. So the next year, about a year later, now I've read the Kabbalion, I've read the Tao. Now I come into an understanding of there is no begging, there is demanding. So this next year, I was demanding, but I was demanding knowledge of truth. That's all I was demanding, knowledge of truth. I wasn't demanding, I want to believe in Jesus. I want to believe in Allah. That's what actually when I was studying Islam too. I want to believe in Allah. I want to, nope, just truth. That's all I want, truth. Wherever it falls, don't care. That's all. Show me the truth, I'm good. If it landed on Buddhism, okay. If it landed on Hinduism, all right. If it landed in Islam or Christianity or Judaism or Shinto or Ifa, wherever the hell it landed, I was open for that landing. I was going to be an Olympic gymnast with a 10-point perfect landing. But one of the most important things that I did realize during that time frame is that if I don't start to develop to know exactly who I am, I will always be lost. I'm gonna lie to everybody. I'm gonna tell everybody I know who I am. I'm gonna tell everybody that I'm good to go. But when you laying awake at night, when you sitting by yourself, when you're really thinking about things, that you full of shit. That half the things that you tell other people, you full of shit. You say same here. You told your aunt that you wasn't praying for anything. I was saying what I wanted. Exactly. People should catch the Holy Ghost. And I lose it. Couldn't help but laugh. Bruh, I used to be laughing my ass off at that. Honestly, the thought had crossed my mind when I am in a serious thought. I use those things as excuses and I should say no, and that's okay. Yeah. Like, I'm gonna tell you, like for relationships, for instance, right? Not meaning to insult anybody from my past, but from 8th grade up in up until some recent times, I allowed the woman to choose me. If you understand. Now I know most men that we sit around will say we will always and I did a video where I said, women, y'all don't know how much power that y'all have. Women actually choose the man. Y'all do choose the man, and then we just close the deal. But my problem was that I would allow a woman to choose me, and whichever one chose me, I would just feel obligated to close the deal. Especially if I had intimacy with that woman. If we had sex, you my lady. If we had sex, you my woman now. It didn't matter. We had sex, you my woman. I know I don't like you. I know that I'm not even physically attracted to some of y'all. I know that y'all are getting on my nerves from day one. Oh shit, we had sex. You my lady. I would allow a woman to choose me. Easy. It's only been really, to be honest, it's only been since 2015 that I started only closing deals on what I felt like I wanted to close the deal on. Haven't been right all the time, of course, but I've gotten a hell of a lot better. But I used to sit there and do that. Some woman on here There was some woman on here and she was like, "Oh, Coach Renz, I'm gonna come meet Coach Renz. I'm gonna come sit and I'm gonna talk to Coach Renz. I'm gonna be present with Coach Renz." And prior to 2015, oh damn, she's this present. She's with me. She's with me. She's hanging out. She's talking. No, no, no. Oh, next thing I know, we kissing and shit. Oh hell, we kissing. She about to be my lady. Next thing you know, you my lady. And next thing I know, 4 5 months not went by, and I'm looking around, one like, how in the hell am I gonna break up with this woman? That's how it was. That's how I was because I didn't have enough knowledge of myself, and then I wasn't confident in that knowledge of myself. Right? I wasn't confident in it. Oh, and you know how people who are not in relation, well, I guess I'm with her because the universe has guided her to me or guided me to her. This is universal energy that's bringing us together. No, she like you, but do you like her? Her energy is towards you, but is your energy toward her? Vice versa, go same way the other way. His energy is towards her, but it's her energy towards him. Because I'm sure that there are some women on here that can look back at some relationship and know that they really didn't want to be with that man. But since he was present, since he was trying, he was always there. She fell in for it. You're loyal till she loses your trust. Yeah. And don't be giving me them eyes. We already not talked about this before. You knew this when we was friends that I had that problem. Yep. You lose interest. So when you got your last relationship, you can finally breathe. Was never happy being single though. Yeah. Always been the longer I was and am full of confidence. I just never actually searched for a serious relationship. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like my son is that way. He's not been into. I am a relationship guy. I love being in a relationship, and my love for a relationship without wisdom is what allowed for me to allow people to choose me and me not choosing them, right? Because I love being in a relationship. I think when they wrote that part in Genesis, it is not good for man to be alone. I think they had me in mind. I think they had me in mind. I don't need to be single, right? So I don't come you first, young. Me single is not good because me single. How can I put this without being? Um, so, as I've said before in other videos, I'm probably the most considerate person that I've ever met. Right? Like I will not do certain things or not say certain things or do things out of consideration for other people. You don't even have to know. You could be a stranger. Right? You could be a complete stranger. Right? I still, if I was playing loud music and I drive by a church on a Sunday or a synagogue on a Saturday, I will still turn my music down out of respect for what the people are in there doing. If you're from the South, then you know that that's what you do. You wouldn't dare drive past a church on a Sunday blasting the music, right? Um, I still I'm still considerate of the people inside the building and what they're trying to do. Uh, I will park or not park in certain places, being considerate of people who ain't even there. You know, but I'm always doing. I'm like super considerate. So sometimes when a person meets me, a woman meets me, she thinks she mistaken my consideration for me being interested in her, and then when she's interested, you know, I might go a little further, and I flirt like a big dog. I'm a championship flirter. If flirting was an Olympic sport, I'd get the gold. And there's been some times where I just ran into somebody, and I just been seeing them around or whatever. And there was a moment to flirt harder than I've ever flirted with them before, and then I flirted with them. And then next thing I know, they're showing up at my lounge, and you ain't hardly ever been here before, but now you trying to show up. Well, why you here, right? And then we literally had to have a couple of serious conversations of me explaining why we wouldn't work out. I'm not good for you. But what was all that happened over there? Oh shit, I just flirting, just playing around. Same way I flirt with when you came in here before. That once every other month. So I wouldn't be good single. I don't need to be single. People need to know that I got a woman, so that they don't get their wires crossed. They don't get their feelings hurt. You just go out of your way to offend religion with my lyrics nowadays. It's all positive. But all of that, but see, that's knowing myself. You understand what I'm saying? I know myself well enough that I know that and I'm not saying that you got to eliminate everything that you know. I'm going to flirt. I'm a flirt. And I'm going to make my little side comments, my little innuendos, all those kind of things are going to happen. But I make sure that the people I know myself well enough, and I know other people. I know I'm like that, and I know how other people can take it. So, like when there are women in here, I make sure I express. Like right now, they know I have Angelina, so I don't have to express it like I used to. But summer, spring, when me being single, I express wholeheartedly what type of woman I don't like. What are my body sizes? It ranged from this to this. Hairstyle, dress, the way they dress, things they like to go do, places they like to hang out. I express all those things to make sure that the women who come in here know, hey, if you don't even fit in these categories, don't even try me. You don't get your feelings hurt. I make sure they understood that. So when I give them a hug, because we friendly with each other, when I give you a hug or make my little Indian, don't get it confused. I wouldn't date you. So I would go out of my way to make sure that they understood that, because I don't want to hurt their feelings. Plus, it's bad for business. But that's knowing who I am, though. You understand what I'm saying? That's really knowing who I am. And if you don't know who you are, then you are a destructive force out there. And then when you blame some deity, you're even worse, because now you're teaching other people who are believing in this deity how to not know themselves even more and be even more destructive. Women would direct their innuendo. What's up, time? Shockwave. Direct their innuendos towards at me, and it would always catch me off guard. I hardly ever miss one because I always got a good response back. Now, I will admit, Angelina gives me a run for my money. Sometimes she'll make one and it'll go over my head, or she'll leave an opening and I might miss it. But she's just as bad as I am, which is one reason why we work out so well. Because we're both horrible. But I tell guys in here oftentimes, because I do have some gentlemen who come here and it's always the woman this, the woman that, the woman is doing this, the woman is doing that, the women, the women, the women, the women, the women, the women, the women. And then I always say, but you choose to know that woman. You choose to be around those type of women that you sit up here and complain about. You consistently are with the type of woman that you are always complaining about. So is it the woman's fault or is it your fault? Do you not know yourself well enough to tell those women no, to not be around those type of women, to not engage with those type of women, to not continue to further your negative mindset towards women, because you keep being around the same ones that you complain about? So whose fault is that? I tell them jokers all the time, that's your damn fault. You the problem, not the women. You the problem. And the reason why you're a problem, because you won't even admit to yourself that you are the problem. Like, I appreciate the people who came on here and they were brave enough to say that their life compared is a 3 or 4 or 5, you know, in comparison to what living their greatest life would be. I can appreciate that. I honor that because you're being more honest with yourself. My health is not where I want it to be. My money is not where I want it to be. My freedom of time is certainly not where I want it to be. My freedom of time is so freaking far away from where I want it to be. If anything, the money and the time is the main reason why my life right now is a damn 4.5. My money and my time. I need more money because I need money to go and do the things that I desire to do. Cause I'm telling y'all, y'all know, I've said it before, I'm that one that, some people, we're gonna go on vacation. Where we're going? We're going to Bermuda. We're going to the Bahamas. We're gonna go to Cabo. We're gonna go to Italy. Monge. Where you going? Going to the pyramids. Going to Machu Picchu. Gonna climb up all them mountains and go through all that damn jungle for 4 hours so that we can go to Machu Picchu. Going to Easter Island. Got to look at the big old heads. I got some sonic equipment. I want to get some sonic pictures of the bodies that's underground, below the statues. That's vacation for me. I can appreciate the Parises, the Ghanas, I can appreciate all that stuff. But no. Oh, they found an old ancient Pueblo dwelling in Arizona. There's a dig that's going on over here, and I'm volunteering to volunteering as an amateur to go and participate in this dig at Gobekli Tepe. That would be me. That would be me. That would get me closer to the 10. That would get me closer, but of course that takes money. That takes money and time. I'm in here 12 hours. 10. What's today? Today's Wednesday, so I'm in here till 10 o'clock tonight. Got here around 10:15 today, so about 12 hours. Because it'll be about 10:15 before I walk out this door. So time. Other than that, I'll be killing y'all. Y'all be like, God damn, boy, do you ever get off lives? I'll be running a live every day. Sometimes it'll be twice a day. I'll being able to read and study, and then do videos based on the studying and the lives and stuff based on that, and then just constant. Then hitting the road, get in that RV and drive around the country for a year, North and South, North America, the whole Americas. But see, I know that is what's true about me. That's who I am. Like, I'm not the guy. Like, let's say you want to be if you was a lady or you just a dude and you was trying to be my friend. Like, I'm not the guy that's gonna stay here and be your friend living in the same place forever. It's not gonna happen. You know how some of y'all, you got that friend and y'all hang out and y'all lifelong buddies and y'all live in the same town and see each other a couple times a week, and you got events that you're always going to and all that. I'm not that kind of friend. I'm not, because I ain't gonna be here. If I gotta live in the same town and for us to have that deep connection of friendship, nah, we ain't gonna ever be friends. The majority of dudes that I call friends don't live in Atlanta. I would like to find and study ancient African cities and the cultures and that haven't been destroyed and erased by the powers that be. See that's what I'm talking about. Time. Yeah. See, Nepal. Look, bro, I gotta go to Nepal or Tibet, and where's Nepal? Nepal and Tibet. I gotta go to Tibet And I need to sit with the monks in Tibet for like a month, like a whole month. Angelina gonna be mad, but for like a whole month, just in the Tibetan mountains, not in the wintertime though, but a whole month. Oh, if there's oh shit, I think it's on Netflix. I think it's on Netflix. You say you want to go into Amazon, but the African cities, I'm with you on that one. But there's a lot of hidden cities in India too. Yeah, but and it's similar to the Amazon. The Amazon has covered up so many. There's a series on Netflix, I believe, where they are using some kind of aerial sonic um, photography, and they are finding all kinds of structures in the Amazon, right? Just all kind of structures in the Amazon. It's on Netflix, I believe. I don't know the name of it. I Angelina was watching it one night, and I came in the room and she was watching it, and she fell asleep, and I sat up there at like 3 o'clock in the morning watching this stuff. Oh shit, you in Australia? Mm. Unlike most Americans, if I were to come to Australia, I got to go to the outback. I get that big ass rock where the Aboriginal people say that the sky people came down and landed on. I got to go to see that big ass rock. So I got to go out into the outback with the Aboriginals and see the rock that the sky people came down on in Australia. Sydney, Brisbane, that's fine. You know, got to have a city to fly into. But that would be my main reason for going to Australia. Oh, and the fact that I want to fly Air Australia because I saw a little documentary on Air Australia and it seemed like a nice ass flight. Oh, well, yeah, Australia is built to kill you. I think Will Smith must have went to Australia, spent some time there, and said, "You know what? I got a movie idea. We're gonna call it After Earth because it seems like everything in Australia is made to kill your ass." But yeah, Ayers Rock. But you say the natives call it. Shit, I need my glasses for that one. Where the hell I put my glasses? Mm. U- uh, Uluru. Did I say it right? Uluru. Yep. And I'm coming down there with my hats or Laurel. Or Laurel? Okay. Or Laurel. I'm coming down with my hat, the Crocodile Dundee. Gonna crank up the Barbie. I don't know how to do an Australian accent. If I started doing an Australian accent, it'll convert over to a British accent. But hell to the yeah. And that's the only thing I want to see in Australia. I'm pretty sure if I did research, there's other things that I would want to see. But the main thing I want to see is that rock. Uluru. Uluru. I don't know. Fuck it. Ayers Rock. I learned how to say it. I got to hear it. Make sure I'm saying. But yeah, I want that's my whole thing for Australia. After that, on to Thailand and Macau. Go to Macau for a little, and Thailand just because I want to go to Thailand. Actually, my uncle was married to this woman from Thailand, and I thought she was the most beautiful woman in the world when I was like 6 years old. So I've always had this affinity for Thailand. And then I learned Thai boxing, Muay Thai. So I definitely want to go see a real Muay Thai fight. Always welcome, sir. But the only way I'm ever going to get to do all those things is I have to truly know who I am. Because otherwise, there'll always be something. You know, people say, I always feel like there's something, some purpose out there for me. It's something I'm supposed to do, is some calling and all this kind of stuff. The only reason you don't know what your purpose, your calling is because you don't know who the hell you are. It's really that simple. It might sound mean, to some people's ears, but you've been around on here on my podcast long enough. I'm straightforward with it. I don't really care about your feelings too much. But, and I know that sounds contradictory for somebody who's always considerate about things, but I'm considerate enough not to give you a bunch of fluff. But if you don't know what your purpose in life is, it's because you don't know yourself enough to define it for yourself. You understand what I'm saying? Like I said earlier, with the guy that I quoted, instead of looking for the meaning of life, you decide the meaning of life. The meaning of life is what you make the meaning of life is to you. My meaning of life is studying and teaching. That is my purpose. That's me. And I've explored teaching, of course, but I explored it for money. I used to teach IT. I hate IT work. Can't stand IT work. But I love teaching. But I have to love what I'm teaching. And I don't love IT work. Can't stand it. Save my life. I love personal development. I can teach personal development. Used to get in my car and that's all I had was I'm listening to Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, Les Brown, everybody. That's all I listened to. That's all I listened to for years, for decades. That's all I listened to. Hardly any music, just that. I drive from Tampa to Atlanta to Tampa, wherever I was going, and that's all I'm listening to. Whole 7 hours. I got 7 hours. Oh shit, I can listen to this. My purpose is simple. I found it early. I tell you, it hasn't made it come any easier. It just makes it if worth fighting for, fighting harder. Yeah, and I'm guessing it's music. How many of y'all know what your purpose is? Your purpose in this life. How many of y'all have defined it, know what it is, and then if you have, are you gaming towards it, or are you waiting on something? And if you have found it, are you living it? Like, who knows their purpose in life? Who knows why they're here? Who's defined it? Time Shadow says he doesn't. I did write one book. It's called How to Escape Mental Welfare. I wrote it in 2000. I started writing it in 2000. I finished it in 2002 and self-published it. It's actually now on my website. It's on CoachRenz.com. But it's called How to Escape Mental Welfare. I wrote it. It's very short because I don't know how to write long form. I've been working on another book that I plan to finish, and it's about relationship, how to find your divine soulmate. And the chapter that I wrote called "Say I Do to Yourself First" was like the first thing I wanted to write, but I was like, nah, I'm not gonna put that in that first chapter. I got to lead up to this, but saying I do to yourself was like one of the most important things. But I used the chakra system based on chakras after you identify who you are and a whole bunch of other stuff. Then utilizing the chakra method in relation to identifying who you are and knowing who you are. That's how you also find your mate through that process. I plan on finishing that book, but yeah, I did. I wrote a book. It was fun too. I sold a whopping 2,000 copies of it back in the day. You talking about? Shit. New York bestseller. But yeah, I did write a book. And doing this, I'm very passionate about this. Even when I don't even know what I'm gonna talk about. Like today, I had no idea what I was gonna talk about. What you miss 1 hour and 45 minutes of conversation. Carol says it's all by design that we don't know ourselves. See, I don't agree with that, Carol. I know what my purpose is. I know what my meaning is. And I'm ever more gaming towards it. Me being on here right now is part of me, as Christians like to say, walking in my purpose. I wouldn't be here. I originally started doing these to, not lives, but doing videos so that my children will have my knowledge whenever I pass on. They'll have that legacy of being able to go back and look and learn things that they didn't quite understand when they was babies and they was growing up, but they would always have it. That was the purpose of making these videos. But I love teaching. I love teaching about history and ancient cultures and religions, and I love teaching about relationships. I don't talk about relationships on these channels that much. And to me, relationships shouldn't be that damn hard. People make them too damn hard. They're not that hard. But what makes it hard is that you don't know who you are. You're giving your power over to gods and devils and ancestors and aliens and all that sort of thing, instead of recognizing that it is the goddess inside you that you don't know and you don't exalt. And until you know it, exalt it, and live in it, you're a shadow of yourself. You literally are a shadow. That's one reason why I like the Gospel of Thomas, because it talks a lot about how this meat suit is the poverty. And if you don't know who you are, then you become that poverty. Most people are walking around living their life in poverty. Doesn't matter how much money they have, doesn't matter who's in their lives and what's going on, they're in poverty. They're living with the misery that they're able to handle. I'm accustomed to this level of misery. I'm gonna keep living in this misery. And they stay in it. Oh, somebody pulled up. Right. And people are emotionally unenlightened. And I was telling the guys the other day, one of the reasons why men are picking the wrong woman for themselves, and women do it too, but we was talking about men at the time, is because they don't know how to control their emotions. Either they're so stoic and caught up and don't show any emotions, or they're just a damn river of emotions and make all these emotional decisions, whether they look like machismo decisions or punk ass decisions, but they're like, they don't have any control of their emotions. And so they are disastrous to other people. I know who this car is. I think if that's Harlem, then I don't have to stop, because he's in and out. I don't think that's Tony. Tony had eye surgery, and he drives a different SUV anyway. Sorry. But design, nah. Do I believe that the universe is designed? Sure. Do I believe that my life is designed? Who I am is designed? Hell no. It is designed and defined by me. So we had a whole discussion. What was that, Monday, when we did free will? Everybody has free will. Most people choose not to use it. You choose not to use it. There are too many who conflate an infatuation or sexual attraction and think it's love. Like a champ, most of us men are not taught how to control our emotions. We're not. We either taught to hold them in, and a lot of these newer generation are taught to just let them flow. But there's a balance. Just like there's a balance, and that's the balance between your masculine and your feminine energy. Your masculine and your feminine, your masculine energy representing your logic, your feminine energy representing your emotions. You have to have a balance between your logic and your emotions. You can't be overly logical. You can't be overly emotional. You have to find that balance. Hold on, let me unlock this door. Yeah, that's Harlem, so we'll be able to continue.
Yo,
What up, man?
what's good? Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know what I'm doing.
Yes, sir. Hello, it's the world.
You would have enjoyed today's conversation as well.
Don't be afraid. You can invite me back.
And I don't know why you don't just be on the lives anyway. All you're doing is driving around in your dang on car.
You know what? Don't send me. I'll jump on.
You should be like in your car listening.
Invite me.
I'm not inviting you. You know what my channels are. You go on there and get on it. See what I'm saying? You see how you want to be petted? Like he's special. You ain't special to me in my life like that. Petting you.
I'm sure that statement goes against everything that you say on your channel.
No, it doesn't.
I am special.
You special to you.
Okay, special nonetheless.
But yeah, oftentimes people mistake lust and for chemistry and compatibility, and that's all it is. But when you know yourself, you can recognize what it is you're actually feeling, what you're actually, where your thoughts are, who you are. There's been times where, look, I think you're sexy, and I know you think I'm sexy. Well, we're not compatible, but we can probably have a good time in the bedroom. You know what I'm saying? Let's just let it be that. Now, if you ever start catching emotions, just let me know, and then we'll just break it off. I'm not going to catch any. Most dudes would not be that straight up with a woman. Hold on, let me help this joke out.
Joking now, huh?
Yeah. Have you ever told a woman, like, look, think you sexy? You think I'm sexy? Let's just be friends with benefits.
Absolutely, all the time.
All the time?
Yeah.
All of them?
Not all of them, but all the time. Yeah.
All the time. That's what I was talking about right now. Emotional control. We're really just talking about how people don't know themselves all the time.
Yeah.
They won't seek to know themselves, and so they give deity all the excuses. They use deities for excuses. Ancestors, devil, aliens.
Yep. And if you want to go ahead and really get with it, so I told you how I feel about the Bible before. I think it's the greatest comic book ever written, So, but if you really go into it, it says, I've given you all the power you can ever need. Like I've given, if you have the faith the size of a mustard seed, you can move mountains. They already gave you all the power. You don't need an excuse.
But not having any doubt.
Well,
there's the one that says, but you must not have any doubt.
That's on you. That's right. You can control that.
You can.
Okay.
And then but that did strike me when I was younger, when I was like, when it said that I give man dominion over everything, I took that as everything.
It is everything.
But everything is also yourself.
It's especially yourself.
It's
yourself first. Yeah. So exactly.
You can't have dominion over nothing else if you don't have dominion over yourself.
You can't control you. You can't control nothing else.
Exactly. Stop.
I'm gonna go use the head real quick.
I don't have a head. I'm not in the military anymore. It's not the head. It's the bathroom.
Well, it's rude.
Well, actually, it's a restroom because there's no shower or bathtub in there, so it's not a bathroom.
Anything I say, no matter what, it's just gonna be something.
But you're not resting either. Sorry about that. We always mess with each other in the lounge. Hindu, I do know how to say Mahabhaka Brita, Mahabhatma Brita gives instructions on identifying and controlling your thoughts and emotions. It does. Actually, a lot of the Hindu and Buddhist traditions teaches you how to control your emotions and control your behavior far better than most other religions that I've read. The Tao gives you more vague oversights of it, I never pay attention to what's behind you. Is that your shop? Yeah, I'm in my cigar lounge. That's the humidor where we keep all our cigars, my counter, television, and there's a bunch of seats behind me. Yeah, but we don't. One guy told me that once a friend with benefit, it felt like a sword piercing my heart. Okay, I understand that it felt like a sword piercing your heart, but the fact that he was honest enough, all right, bro, travel like
You too, brother.
one side, but it's good that he just told you that. It could hurt, and that's actually why there's two reasons why men don't tell women right off the bat they just want to be friends with benefits. One, the fear of her saying no, the rejection, uh, and two, you might hurt this woman's feelings. You know, you might make her feel bad. You might hurt her self esteem because she may think if too many guys say that to her, then she may start to think that that's all I'm good for. But this is where the woman has to also know herself, right? They always talk about know your self worth, know your self worth. If that's not what you desire in life, then it's just no. It's just no. And you have to be willing to give out a bunch of no's and take a bunch of no's. Uh, I'm spoiled. I'm gonna admit I'm spoiled. Damn, this is gonna sound arrogant. I haven't received many rejections in my life, so I can't quite. I can say you have to be willing to take a bunch of no's, but when it comes to relationships or women or something like that, I haven't received a bunch of no's. But I can relate as far as when it comes to doing business. I've received a bunch of no's in business. That shit hurt. I ain't gonna lie, that shit hurt. So that's as close to empathy I can get with that one. Is I have to relate it to business no's. Uh, but you have to be willing to take the no's. You have to be what it in that. Y'all know I love my movies. In Balboa, when he says you got to be able to take the hits and keep moving forward. Take the hit and keep moving forward. You have to know what you're worth. And that's how winning is done. Oh shit, that was a high pitch. But that is how winning is done. Taking the no's, taking the hits, and get up and keep going and keep moving forward. Knowing your self worth, knowing who you are. And it's not even so much self worth, it's knowing who you are. Because, knowing who you are is your self worth. I remember I had a young lady that I was coaching, and she was feeling really bad. She was deconstructing out of religion, and she loved sex, loves sex, and she would say things like, "She's like, it sounds so much like being a slut or a whore, but I don't want us to have the same ping ping 2 nights in a row. I want different. I want change. I want, but that's being a hoe or being a slut and all this kind of stuff." And I had to tell her, I say, look, a woman's body has more sexual arousal than a man. If you love it, if you enjoy it, why are you don't allow religion or society to define who you are when it comes to that. I know you've been taught all these things about soul ties and all that, but do you become emotionally attached to these people? She was like, no. I was like, then there ain't no tie. There's no soul tie just because these people are saying it. If there's no emotional connection, there's nothing tying you to that person. Do you care if that person I mean, you should care if a person is still breathing, true, but do you really care? If you found out that somebody that you uh, slept with passed away, are you going to be all like, oh, no? You're going to be like, oh, yeah, that's messed up. And then you're going to keep on moving with your life. You ain't tied to that person. So I told her, explore your sexuality. Be yourself. Enjoy yourself. Be who you are. If other people don't like it, they can kick rocks. Now, are you going to struggle with when you want to have a relationship with a dude? You might, because most dudes are so egotistical that they cannot handle a woman who desires adventure in her sexuality like that. So you need to find a dude who's confident in that and who can roll with you. You know, who doesn't mind, who is probably a swinger or something themselves. Because otherwise, yeah, most men are not doing. They're just not built that way. And from what I can tell of her on Facebook, she's happier now than she's ever been. She's closer, and now that she's retired and she's traveling and doing all the other things that she desired to do, she's probably rocking a good 8 right now. She's probably rocking a good 8. Still never got her health in order though. That's ultimately why I had to fire her as a client, because she still never got her health in order. That was doing my personal training and life coaching days. Still do the life coaching part. Just don't do the personal training part. I tell you what to do as far as the personal training and your health, but I'm not actively participating in that aspect of people's lives no more. He's like, no friends. Yeah, it's hard. And the fact of the matter is, life on this planet. And understand how I'm saying this. Life on this planet currently is harder for a woman than it is for a man. But for a woman who knows herself truly, life can be easier for a woman than it could be for a man. Like, it wouldn't do for me to be a woman with my mind. Oh, hell no. I'd be a straight up 10 in my life if I was a woman. Now I'm gonna fuss at y'all for a second. Fuss at the ladies. You ladies just don't realize how much power that you have to be able to live your best life. Y'all hold more power than you give yourself credit for. Oh my damn. Does a woman hold us? And oh my gosh, y'all hold so much power. Y'all could be living y'all best life far easier than it is for a man to live his best life. If y'all think of these men who are just going out here and they, like, guys were talking about how, dude, he making all this money and got in shape and look good and got plenty of women coming at him day and night, but he goes home lonely every night. Dude can't trust nobody, doesn't have it within him to trust if any woman can actually love him for himself, especially if he's wealthy. If he's really, really wealthy. What was it? There was an actor. I forgot his name. I think it was Kirk Douglas. I think he married Demi Moore for a little bit. And at the time, he way more money than her. But he was so untrustworthy and unsure if she actually loved him that in their prenup, it said that she would only get $1 million per year that she was with him, because he had no trust in her, whether her affections for him were true or not, because of his status. And men are so goddamn simple. We are. A man is not that hard to please. If you find out what a man's sexual appetite is, his peace appetite is, and there are subcategories within the peace and within the sexual appetite, of course. But when you find out his sex and his peace, and you realize, and his you have it within yourself to fulfill that and be happy with yourself, that man will burn and scorch the earth for you to have whatever it is you desire to have. Like, that's how much power y'all have. The flip side of that for a man is that for most women, and I should say most men, but for most women, where a man's shit is this much, for most women is like that. And we have to work, we have to put in a lot more effort in order to make a woman truly happy. Most women are settling because most men are not doing what it is that would make a woman actually truly happy. Of course, everybody has to be happy with themselves, but you have to know yourself to be happy with yourself. But everybody has to be happy with themselves first. Nobody can make you happy. But when you come together with somebody, that you're coming together because there are other aspects. I can't turn the volume up. That's loud as it go. I'm talking into the microphone. But for most that's as loud as it goes. I don't know. Some people's stuff be lower than others. I don't know why. But most made me lose my train of thought. Be nice. Most men struggle at the plethora of things that it takes to make most women happy. And it's constantly changing, ever changing. It's constantly, and both are changing, but it's always it's more and more and more. You know, I've repeated multiple times how my grandmother said you got to do twice as much to get her as you does to keep her. But you also got to keep learning and changing, learning and changing, learning and change. As she changes, as she has experiences, she changes. It becomes more and more complicated. So it's harder for a man to get there. It is so much easier for a woman to get out of a man what she desires than it is for a man to get out of a woman what he desires. Which I'm not bashing women for that at all. It just is what it is. What I'm saying is, women have the power to gain their 10 way more so than a man does. Let me see. Oh, I might miss some things y'all said. When things fall, when things fall apart and the seat of the soul were good books. Okay. The first one was written in Buddhist, great for managing emotions, written by a Buddhist. That's when things fall apart and the seat of the soul. Is that cause? Is that cause you wait until you think your chances are high? I might have missed what that is in reference to, but the first thing is that they had it right, kind of right back in the day. Not back in the day when you had teenage girls marrying grown ass men. But most women are not going to find their happiness with men that are their age. You're usually going to have to find somebody who's probably good 7, 8, 9, 10, 15 years older than you. Because most men aren't getting their shit together until they're older. You know, the older we get, the more we have a tendency to get our shit together. But that's for most people. But what a man has to get together is a lot more than what a woman has to get together. That was in regard to you having good luck with your pursuit of women. Is that because you wait for chances are high? Oh, no, no. It's not because I wait for my chances to be high. It's gonna sound arrogant again, but I took the time to study. I took time to study women at an early age. I was always fascinated by men of charisma, and I emulated a lot of that. I grew up writing poetry and reading poetry, reading a lot of literature, and that helped me to understand how to change my speech pattern or or it just had my speech pattern in such a way that when I talk to a woman, um, as one young lady said, you have a beguiling manner of speaking. Another lady, back in the day, you're a silver tongued devil. And then I studied Tantra, so the intimacy part. And then I had a cousin who told me when I was 14, she said, you always focus on pleasing the woman when you're having sex. You don't ever focus on your own pleasure. Whereas all the guys that I was around, it was all about pleasing yourself, pleasing yourself, pleasing yourself. But even from a young age, when I started having sex at a young age, it was always the focus was pleasing the woman. Um, and since my focus on pleasing the woman intimately was that way, my focus on pleasing the woman was also that way in every other aspect of connection. So other women who was observing me would see that, and so I didn't have a lot of work to do. Uh, and then here's the weird thing. I've In my younger years, I wasn't confident, but I had a desire to be confident. And so in order for me to be, I knew early on, if you want confidence, then you have to exude confidence. Even when you don't feel confident, you still exude confidence. And you keep doing it and it becomes a habit and becomes who you are. Your habits become who you are. And then I just became confident. Right. Um, Now, what you said in that last one is good, but also dangerous. I've always been about pleasing the woman for me. If she's happy, then I'm happy. That's not necessarily true. I've been with women where they were happy, but I still wasn't happy. So I recognize that I have to have a woman who is also saying she can't be happy unless I'm happy, because I'm saying that I can't be happy unless she's happy. If both of us have to be focused on the other person's happiness, but that but what needs and then I realized um, what makes each one of us happy has to be similar. I did a video some years ago about the 5 love languages and how they don't work. They do actually work, but most people don't utilize them in a certain way to make them work. Let me give you a brief little thing about it. If you do the 5 love languages thing, right? Let's say you go and read that book and then you take the little test and you figure out what your 5 love languages are. Let's say for me, I ain't gonna let's say for me, my top two is affection and quality time. Well, physical touch and quality time. My bottom ones is my last one was at the very bottom is gift. And then I think it's either acts of service or words of encouragement. I think words of encouragement and gifts. Those are my two bottom. I know that I cannot be with a woman who where her top two are words of encouragement and gifts. That's not going to work for me. I don't receive love as much in those that way. So it's not a natural way for me to give love. You naturally give love in the same way that you receive love. So that opposite attracts is bullshit. You need to find that person who receives love in the same way that you receive love. Like your top two need to be in her top three. See what I'm saying? So for me, if a woman's top three has quality time and affect and physical touch has to be in her top two, her top three. Maybe uh, maybe hers goes quality time, gifts, and then physical touch. We are going to struggle a little bit, but we still in range. It will be preferable that it was quality time, well, physical touch, quality time, then gifts. Even though gifts is at my bottom, if gifts is her third one, then I don't have to be as focused on gifts because I suck at gifts. because that's not how I receive love. Now, I was with a woman who didn't know herself, and put it that way, didn't know herself. And gifts, she was saying gifts was like third and fourth. But as I watched the relationship, gifts was her number one. It was her absolute number one. If gifts is a woman's absolute number one, I don't care if quality time and physical touch is her 2 and 3. That didn't work. My 1 and 2. So let me reverse that a little bit. My 1 and 2 has to be her 1 and 2. They don't necessarily have to be the same. Like, I'm physical touch, quality time. She could be quality time, physical touch. But that 1 and 2 got to be the same. They got to be the same. Now, if her 3 is gifts, I can deal with it. I can work with it. It'd be preferable to me that her 3 was acts of service, and words of affirmation was her number 4, and then gifts is her number 5. We gonna have a good time because now we are matching, right? Um, I think I've added that as a chapter in my book that I'm writing. If I didn't, I'm gonna add it as a chapter in this damn book. But I'm pretty sure I did write that as a chapter in the book, and I gave credit to that book. Um, but them shits got to match. So I understand what you're saying, but there's a little bit of danger in you just focus on her happiness, and then you'll be happy. Because I lived that life for a very long time with a woman where the overwhelming majority of the time she was happy all the time. I was not. There were years of unhappiness because we just wasn't matching. Our top 2 wasn't matching. Like, only one of my top 2 was one of her top 2s. And then my other top 2 was like fourth. That shit don't work. That would not work. But it all comes to knowing yourself. And I can use the excuse, oh, we were young and all that. That's why both of us tell our children, we mandated to them little jokers. If you ever think about getting married before you turn 27, I will fight you. I still tell my kids that today. My oldest is the only one who's allowed to get married right now. And that's because hell, I don't know how old that little girl is. She's either 27 or 28, but she's of age to get married. But I still tell her, even right now, you still got a lot of work into knowing who you are. You still haven't really gotten to the point where you truly know who you are. So you need to figure that out. My 24-year-old knows more of who she is than my 27, 28-year-old. I gotta find out how old is that girl. If you was born in December of 95, how old are you now? I can't do the math on none of my things right now because I'm doing this. So somebody tell me how old my oldest daughter is. But I would say that my youngest daughter knows more of who she is than my other 2 kids. My son, he's discovering himself right now, and he's 22. As long as she respects you, values you, and is good, it's good for me. I'm good. Everything else just falls into place. Okay, so she's 27. So that means she turns 28 this year. All right. All right. Got it. Appreciate it. I'll try to remember that. Oh, man. I used to pick on my mom because she never knew how old any of her kids were. And she does that thing like, if I call my mom, she going to call me. If she calls me, she will say every other name before she get mine. She'll call me David, Lance, Derek. She'll call me all the names of her other son and her grandsons before she. I mean, and I ain't gonna tell y'all what she calls me. My family calls me by a different name than y'all know me by, and y'all ain't gonna know that name. It's a fucked up version of my middle name. I don't like it. Other people think it's fine. I just don't like it. But Now I'm that guy. Straight up meant to send Sydney some money, but wound up sending it to Simone, and then had to call Simone and say, "Hey, I know you just saw this deposit in your account. Now I need you to send that to your sister's account." Be mixing them little jokers up all the time. But yeah, but my middle child, she's more like me than the other ones when it comes to this area. And they all have their parts of me that they're more like, but in that area, she's more like me. She knows who she is. She has known who she is, who she was for a while. You know, um, and when I say a while, like the last 3 years, I've really seen her truly understand who she is more and more. And she's the one that takes the time to study it, to develop it. She'll send me a text every time she has an epiphany. She sends me the long text, and she often refers to them of, you know, you was how or when I was trying to teach them that, when I was teaching them something, and then it finally clicks. I taught you that when you was 9. You heard me repeat it a bunch of times. Now you're 22 years old or 21, and you had an epiphany. It finally clicked. So people trip when they find out that you're the exact same person you were when you were 7. I would trip too, because that's hard to believe. You've had so many experiences that should have grown and changed you in so many different ways since you were 7. There are certain aspects of me that are the same as when I was like 9 years old, but I am vastly different than I was when I was 9. But that's all because I've had a lifelong journey of trying to understand more and more of who I am. I go over my history to try to pull out more and more epiphanies to understand myself better and better. And then I decide who I'm every year. When October 15th hit, I spend 3 days reviewing my life, especially the last year, but reviewing my life, seeing what gains and what losses I've taken, and evaluating if I'm moving in the direction of who I desire to be, the me that I am becoming, and if what I've been doing has been moving me in that direction, or do I even still want to move in that direction? And begin the next year's plans of, well, let me reverse engineer this to see how can I get to that point for my short term and my long term goal. Talk about that for a bit in the book called How to Escape Mental Welfare, written by yours truly. It's called Creating an Action Plan Based on Your Goals. And when you write down your goals, you look at which goals will have the most impact in your life and will make it much easier for you to attain the remaining goals. And then you reverse engineer those goals by writing down what things can happen in your life that will allow you to achieve that goal. That is in the book, How to Escape Mental Welfare. You can go to CoachRenz.com and purchase that book. CoachRenz.com and purchase that book. But even though I wrote that book in 2000 to 2002, I still utilize the knowledge and the practice processes that I wrote in that book. I'm telling you, I should be right there with Tony Robbins, with Lisa Nichols, Les Brown. What was that other guy I used to listen to? He's Brian somebody. And I love listening to Jim Rohn, little Idaho country boy. But yeah, you have to. I know we're getting long in the tooth here. Oh, that's one for you, Angelina. Long in the tooth. Long in the tooth. Where the hell that came from? But yeah, so we're gonna get ready to call it a day. It's 1:40. Yeah, I was wondering why I'm hungry. That's why I'm hungry, because it's 1:40. But hey, I don't care what you believe in. I really don't. I think that everybody's spiritual journey is their own spiritual journey. Whatever gets you there. But whatever you are pursuing as your spiritual journey. Study it, understand it, but truly study it. Don't study it with a landing point. Don't study it with a landing point. Study it, letting it take you wherever it takes you. If it takes you in deeper into it, go deeper. If it takes you away from it, then go away from it and find your path. But find your own path that fits you. Self-discovery is the spiritual journey. And you need to know who you are. If you want to live a 10 in your life, you need to know who you are so you can stop using deity, ancestors, conspiracy theories as excuses for you not being the greatest version of yourself. If anything from this video, from this live, take that. Or like my man, what's his name? Ralph Smart. Take that, take that, take that, take that, take that. That dude funny as hell to me. So take those things. Take those things. Take that. Take that. Take that. Breathing in that good ass prana. But you can't hold in the prana. Holding in the prana creates toxicity in you. You have to release the nirvana. And nirvana is paradise. The releasing is the paradise. So, with that, I will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday. We are continuing our study of the things that we like and dislike about